Hello to all you future screencasters. My name is Lorna Costantini, and I'm sitting here in my home office in St. Catharines, Ontario, getting ready to start recording my presentation about creating screencast. I have my USB headset on. The doors are shut. The dog is out. Oh, she's down there. Maybe she'll be quiet. If I look back 4 years ago, I would not have seen myself sitting here at a computer making a screencast that people all over the world could see. Listening to one, sure. Making one, that's another thing. In fact, I was listening to the internet one day and heard Jeff Lebo and Dave Cormier. They were talking about education on EdTech Talk. Intrigued. I signed up for the Webcast Academy and I've not looked back. I started producing the Parents as Partners webcast at EdTech Talk, and I was later invited to join Kim Case and Peggy Juras as co-hosts on the Classroom 2.0 Live Saturday morning webinars, and that's almost 3 years in January. The three of us soon discovered that we needed screencasts to help viewers join our Saturday morning shows because we spent the first 10 minutes of every show getting people set up, and that was taken away from our guests and their presentation. So, being up for the challenge, I said, okay, let me give it a try. And today I'm here to share with you my experiences in starting to screencast. I know what it's like to be a beginner starting to learn. Fortunately, I have had, and I still do have, a really supportive community to help me along the way, and I hope in some small way this presentation will help support you as you will maybe someday create your own TV channel where, much like videos on demand, you will be offering learning opportunities to your students 24/7 where and when they need them. So let's get started. When people think of screencasting, they often think in terms of a screen recording of a computer screen. Well, that's one use for a screencast. There are a lot more. Bringing guest speakers into the classroom, making your own presentations, and self-paced lessons, they're just a few examples. You might be asking me why you want to go to the effort of creating a screencast when you're already busy teaching. I've got 7 good reasons, and I know there's probably more, but they are the 7 on which I base this presentation, and I hope to convince you to take the plunge and try creating screencasts. First of all, it saves you time because it saves you from repeating yourself. When your students ask you the same question and over again, you can send them to your screencast to follow your instructions. Students have multiple needs, and with a screencast, they can work at their own pace and on their own time. When students create their own screencasts, it's a great way to reinforce the concepts that you're teaching. Screencasts can bring life to online courses. It's easy to give tech support because you know nothing can be more frustrating than trying to tell a friend to log into a program when they can't see what you're pointing at. It's easy to give feedback to your students' work, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Finally, it makes the innovative approach flipping the classroom easy and possible. I hope that I've convinced you that one of these 7 reasons is right for you, and you will get anxious to roll up your sleeves and get started. My greatest piece of advice is to plan. Plan. Did I say plan? I can't emphasize enough what a few minutes of creating a storyline will make in organizing your thoughts and simplifying your work. And I tell you, I fight doing this all the time and regret it right about 3 hours later. I wish I had started with a plan. So, what do you need for a plan? You need to consider what software you're going to use to record, where you're going to record, what you're going to record, and what are you going to do with it when you're finished. There are numerous free and paid software applications available, and I'm sure you'll be wondering which one to use. Stay tuned for the resources at the end of this presentation for a description of different software and their pros and cons. I'm going to be using Jing, a free software publication created by TechSmith.
Jing is a fast, easy, and fun way to capture images and create videos of what you see on your screen, so you can add visual elements to all your online conversations. Oftentimes, using just words can be inefficient or even awkward. With Jing, explaining ideas, giving feedback, collaborating on projects, or just sharing information becomes so much easier. Jing sits conveniently on your desktop, so when you need to show something that's on your screen, the intuitive and fun application is ready to capture what you see as either an image or a video. And sharing your capture is even easier. Just click the screencast.com button. Almost instantly, a link to your capture is placed on your clipboard, ready to be pasted into your online conversation. Whether that's a chat, an email, on a forum, wiki, your MySpace or Facebook page, or Twitter. So when the other person clicks on the link, they see what you see. Sharing what's on your screen has never been faster or easier. Enhance the images you capture with Jing arrows, text, and highlights. You can also create a short video or screencast with Jing and narrate it to add an extra layer of clarity. If you have the Pro version of Jing, not only can you record your screen, but also your webcam, so you can be part of your screencasts.
Once you decide on which recording software works for you, play with them and then go on to the next step of writing your story and script. You may find it helpful just record, listen, take a note of what steps you made, write them down, and then record them again. I've used Keynote in this presentation. It helps me to set up the blocks of content and get an idea of the timing. So my plan is done by slide. If you write down what you want to say, and I do this a lot for my screencast, practice your narration to help remove the ahs and ums. Having said that, screencasts for feedback need to be quick and personable, but practice. I use a free audio recording software, Audacity, to record my voiceovers because it's free and it's easy to edit, and it will export to an MP3 file, a format that you can use to add audio to your video recordings. I know that sounds like a lot to learn, but go slowly. Use Jing and branch out to editing your screencasts once you've got familiar with recording your content. Where you record your screencast makes a difference. Try to plan a recording space. Your computer can be a PC or Mac. A USB headset is good for noise canceling and reducing feedback when you record. A decent internet connection will help downloading web pages during your recording. And most importantly, shut off your alerts and pop-ups on your computer like your email, calendar reminders, Skype. Put your cell phone, home phone pages on silent. And I have a dog who barks as soon as I get started, so I put her outside. And sometimes I wait till late at night to record when everybody's asleep and it's quiet. If you're in a classroom and the students can't be that quiet, then how about establishing a quiet on the set rule to give people a chance to record? There are a couple of things I've learned over time. The first is to clear your desktop to make sure there isn't any information displayed you don't want to show in your recording. The next is to set up the tabs in your browser window to get ready to record. You do this simply by going to any link on your page, right-clicking on it. On the drop-down menu, choose Open in a new tab. And if you go up here, you can see what happens. You get another tab going across your browser, so you can do a series of those tabs. And the great thing about this is if you do have a slow internet connection, you will already have the pages set up and you don't have to wait for it to download. Once you're finished recording, you will want to publish your recording on the internet for people to view. Jing makes that easy for you. You can directly upload to screencast.com and get the link to your video. With Jing Pro, which is $14.95 for the year, you can also directly upload to YouTube, or you can save your recordings in an MP4 format and upload to other free hosting sites like TeacherTube and Vimeo. One thing to be mindful, though, is the length of your recording. Jing has a 5-minute restriction, which is really a good thing because ideally recordings of 2 to 3 minutes work best. You're forced to get to the point quickly, which will keep the interest of your viewers. And if you need more, make a series of small recordings. And different hosting sites have different upload limits, so these short recordings will help make it easier to upload. The remainder of my presentation is about screencasts in action, and I'm going to walk you through the first one, which is using Jing to record a Google or PowerPoint presentation, and then I'm going to let the rest unfold. It's kind of a mashup of a variety of the 7 good reasons to create screencasts. I tried to give you an example of each one of them. For the most part, I am using ScreenFlow, which is a paid commercial product. $99 to me wasn't too much to spend because it's a phenomenal piece of software. Some of the screens, as you're saying, are using free Jing, or they're using Cam Studio, or using Camtasia. And again, all the advantages and disadvantages of the screen recording kind of software are included in the resources at the end of the session. So have fun watching the next few minutes of a variety of screencasts. When I first started making screencasts, I found it helpful to use PowerPoint and Google presentations to visually sort my messages into slides. Jing will not record a PowerPoint or Google presentation in presentation mode, and Robert Kelly has got a workaround that I want to demonstrate to you. I have a Google presentation open with the slide sorter on the left and the slide itself in the center. So I need to go to Capture. And we're going to select just the main slide. Then we're going to start the recording. And you'll narrate a small part of your script and then click on pause. And you click over to the slide sorter and advance it to your next slide. Then resume recording, make your narration, pause, go to your slide sorter, go to the next slide, resume recording until you're finished. Then we're going to finish the recording, and it will give you a preview of your recording. And once you've reviewed it, you can do several things. You can say, no, I don't like it. You can save it to your desktop, or we're going to upload it to Screencasting. And once it's uploaded, you're going to get a link to the recording. You'll be able to preview your video in your browser. I think it'll be quite clear to you once you start using Jing what an effective way it is to easily record, to save it, to upload and put it on the internet, to be able to link it to any of your students who want to use it. So it's a one-stop shop for screencasts. Kind of sounded funny, but I love Jing for its simplicity. The next screencast is from the Khan Academy, and I know if you may be feeling a little overwhelmed by screencasting, that there's still lots of available content and screencasts for you, and you might want to take a look at using the Khan Academy in the beginnings.
In this video, we're going to talk about the French Revolution. And what makes this especially significant is that not only is this independence from a monarchy-controlled empire, like in the American independence, this is an actual overthrowing of a monarchy that controls a major world power. So this is on some levels, depending on how you view it, the American Revolution came first and kind of.
The LiveScribe pen is a purchased product, but it's a great example of a piece of technology that allows both teachers and students to not only capture their written word, but the audio recording of whoever's giving the lecture at the time, and then post the written notes onto the internet for everyone to read. So take a look.
Right now I'm on the Moodle site where we get all of our, all of our assignments and stuff. Well, to get to the podcast, I'm just going to click on 4-1 key concepts, and it just brings me up to my LiveScribe. I'm going to hit play, and then it just starts from the beginning. And you just copy down what she says as it's going along. If I don't know, if she went too fast or whatever, and I wasn't paying attention or something like that happened, I can just click this and it'll go, but not really often because she keeps up with a pretty good pace, and it's pretty easy to follow along.
VoiceThread is another software application that is free, or there's a Pro in Education version that allows students to use audio, video, PowerPoint, Word docs, and doodling to create a screencast. And here's a great student-led conference using VoiceThread.
Hi Mom and Dad, welcome to Student-Led Conferences. Today I will be sharing with you some of my learning over the past year in grade 5. After you have listened to my VoiceThread, you will be able to ask me any questions you have about my learning this year. The great thing about VoiceThread is that you can watch it again at any time, and we can share it with other members of our family if we want to. It is also possible for you to record any comments on any of these pages too. I would really like you to record some comments about what you're seeing here today. I can show you how to record a comment later at home. So sit back, watch, listen, and enjoy my learning I'm sharing with you today. I am proud of this work because it was hard to come up with creative and original ideas for the geometry photos. I realized that angles are all around us, and they're everywhere you look. What I need to work on is measuring angles, so I need to buy a protractor to use at home. Will you help me work on this? Maybe you can draw angles that I can practice measuring. This percents and equivalence chart shows that I have improved in percent equivalence because I know most of the percents except 1/6 and 5/6. I think they are 16 2/3% and 83 1/3%. Will you help me work on percentages at home? We can make fraction, decimal, and percent flashcards. I also need to practice finding the percent or fraction of a number.
Improving student outcomes. A parent portal is one such solution. This is Sally. Sally's an elementary school parent, and she's wondering, what is a parent portal anyways? Well, Sally, a portal is just a web page, but a very special web page that you can see from any computer connected to the World Wide Web. It's a web page that connects
iPad apps like Explain Everything are a great example of using handhelds to create screencasts.
Today we're going to be highlighting this fantastic new app for screencasting that I came across called Explain Everything. What I've done is I have imported a PDF from my Dropbox file, and it's a one-page PDF. I'm just going to begin some basic annotations. So I'm going to underline Explain Everything because that's the app we're talking about today. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to set the pen transparency, and I'm going to change the color up a little bit. So now it's going to be a highlighter, and we're going to highlight new project. Another cool feature is you can add.
Okay, one of the most obvious ways of using Jing, and one of the original things that I did with Jing, was use it for giving feedback to my students. And so, for example, if I here, I've got a piece of work from the student, they've emailed it to me, and I simply can just click on the button here and create a video where I go through the mistakes and then I send them the video. So, Helen, just reading through your essay, first mistake that you want to think about is this one here. I am original. Now, this needs to be an adverb, so can you think about that?
I'm Aaron Sams, and I teach science here at Woodland Park High School. My ultimate goal, I guess, as a teacher is to help students become learners who can learn for themselves and by themselves. One of the problems that I was guilty of even prior to flipping my classroom around was the classroom was centered around me. I told them exactly what to learn, how to learn it, what assignments to do to learn it, and when to learn it, and how to prove to me that they learned it. I don't do that anymore. We changed the place in which content is delivered. Instead of standing in front of a class and delivering, here's how you do this type of problem, here's how this works, I deliver that direct instruction now asynchronously at home through these videos that we make with Camtasia Studio.
Times till whole.
Oh, we didn't do that last time.
The last step, they were already whole numbers. We had 1, 1, and 4. Here we don't have a whole number. So here's a few little tricks when you need to multiply by whole numbers. If one of your numbers ends in 0.5, you're going to multiply by 2.
Or something 0.5 times it by 2.
Right.
Okay, write this down, guys.
Yes. If something ends in 0.3 or 0.33 or 0.66, you multiply by 3.
And when the kids come to class, they don't show up to learn new stuff. They show up to apply the things that they learned at home and to ask me questions about the things they learned at home. So now they could have my lesson, if you will, what I would normally have stood up and lectured to them in class with some added features. They get that at home, and then what they were expected to do for homework is now what they do in my class.
As promised, I have a tremendous amount of resources to share with you. First of all, one is Scoop It, and Peggy George has been kind enough to set up Screencasting for online learning, and it's a very comprehensive collection of blogs about screencasting and flipping the classroom. You'll find lots of information about different kinds of software applications, pros and cons, things I talked about before. Secondly, we have a live binder set up for screencasting. This is one Peggy and I did for a conference. In case of clicking from one link to another, here's Streaming with Ustream, a tutorial made by Jeff Lebo, and he's a supreme screencaster au naturel. And again, as you change links from one to the other, you'll have a chance to see the different information. In fact, the Scoop It is listed there as well. And lastly is my own website, ourschool.ca. Please pop in from time to time and take a look at the different recorders for the Parents and Partners webcast, or a link right to the Classroom 2.0 live webcast series. So it's been great presenting about screencasting, and I hope to hear and see your creations as you play in the sandbox and using screencasts.